Right, now, you said you were pregnant.
I did not say that. I said, the way things are going, it seems like my body's going backwards and being restored, that I could be in the future.
Right.
Yes.
You said you were pregnant. In the future.
In the future. In the future.
Yeah.
In the future. All right. All right. Pregnant in the future. Sounds like a good plan. Now, do you want to know about this, what I wrote about, or not?
Absolutely.
Okay. I wrote as the description to this photograph that, oh, I still haven't got this going. Am I supposed to have it going?
Yeah, you're supposed to have it going.
Oh, okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Now, let's get back a bit.
That's Maria.
Go again.
3, 2, 1. Okay, I wrote about this photograph that is on the screen that I uploaded to my Facebook yesterday and put it in as the whatever, the banner, whatever. This was our first night in Fiji. It was November the 12th, 2010 when we arrived there, and we had already sent 33 pages of facts to Frank Bainimarama before entering the country. Now, I tell a bit of the story because we met with Raja Rokaura, who was the right-hand man of Frank, and that was the 23rd of November. Frank was on his way back from China, and Major Rokaura had to drive around with an entourage to pick Frank up from the airport, so he arranged to meet us there at about 7 in the morning. It was really early. Now, this is where Major Rokaura, along the way, got a phone call from a European-sounding man on his Army mobile phone and warned Major Rokaura not to meet with us because we were lunatics. Crazy. So Major Rokaura phones Wonka, our friend who had set it up with Major Rokaura, they were former Army buddies, and had already told him he'd got the phone call from... Now, at that time, the country was... had been informed that New Zealand had been listening since the coup in 2006, I believe, that New Zealand, which means Australia, were listening to every phone call in and out of the country. So, you know, Major Rokaura, of course, his curiosity just piqued more. Who are these two? And when he got...
recommended by Wonka.
Recommended by Wonka, but also Major Rokaura confirmed that they'd got the 33 pages of faxes that we sent to Frank, who was the Prime Minister, and the Commodore, Commander-in-Chief of the forces, the Commodore, and the President, and also the Permanent Secretary for Fiji. The three of them got all 33 pages each. So Major Rokaura confirmed they got that. Now, continuing with the photograph. So we had that meeting with him, and we'd also prepared another document that Major Rokaura could go and show to Frank. Now, of course, at the end of the meeting, Major Rokaura had no trouble believing that this was the return to Christ, and he said to Brian, he says, well, what do I call you? And we said, well, you call him Yahweh. So he shook Yahweh's hand, and he was going to make an appointment with Frank so that we could get to sit down with Frank and go through everything with him, because all of Fiji, 99.9% of Fiji are Christians, and they are all praying for the second coming of the Christ. So, hello! You know, when the Christ is in your nation, you want the nation to know, or at least I want the nation to know, because knowing how the Christians think in the second coming, you want to know if he's there, you would think. However, this is what happened.
So he is now...
Well, when it came to Frank, this is later, Frank said he did not believe it. And Major Rokaura phoned Wonka, and he was almost in tears. Now, we learned later on our second trip that Major Rokaura had been arrested, and he was being held prisoner in the army camp at Suva. And then Frank, of course, had us deported in June. We flew out of the country on June the 4th, but it was June the 2nd Thursday that we were arrested. Spent the night in the cell, flew over to the mainland the next day. The plane was delayed 3 hours. Oh dear, so we had an audience of people, including people from New Zealand and everybody around us, for 3 hours. And of course our arresting officer, the devil, female immigration officer, whose last name was Devi, D-E-V-I, devil, she had to sit and listen to everything that O'Brien was telling. So it was all rather well planned.
She wanted me to be quiet, and I told her to shut her face.
Actually, you didn't. You just kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And then you asked her if she learned anything as you were walking.
She said she did.
She did. So that's what it's all about. Anybody who is arrested that knows us, take it as an opportunity to bring down the beast. Don't be afraid. Just speak boldly. Stand up.
Well, this is Pierre who is going to court in Amsterdam.
Yes,
in a couple of hours' time.
Yes.
And he's going to declare before the judge that he was healed by Almighty God who's in Australia.
Yeah. Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall. So it's all rather exciting.
And Adam is the King of Europe, has been staying with him, which is Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall's son.
Yes. And that's right. And Adam's been expecting a knock on the door at any moment. He's prepared for it. It's an oh-shit moment for him, but he's prepared. I just read a few Facebook comments and he's ready and waiting for them. So it's like, bring it on. Well, I mean, all of this, Pierre and Adam, fearing what would happen to them as we are studying the Shroud of Turin and the absolute flogging and beating and scourging that you got, where there wasn't a shred of skin, and what, you guys are worried about being arrested and questioned, but, hello? Been there, done that. 33 AD, that's what it was all about. So I know you have all of your...
It's far worse than you can imagine.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that can happen to you.
Far worse than you can imagine.
So, it's called payback. This is the time when we get to stand up for him. That's what it's all about. He did it for us so that he could pour out his soul so that we could live. Now we lay down our lives so that everybody can live.